All right, folks, I am very pleased to report we finally have some Conquest on pubs. Too often it's contention. Worst game mode besides pick patrol. But anyways, let's start on a high note here. We are doing Conquest. It's actually a pretty good Conquest map. Now, it has been a rough time for the Union. The previous map, it was the one that's all in Harper's Ferry. It's probably not the one that they were ever going to excel at, but this one, I think they have a little bit better chance at winning. Not that that matters. I mean, CSA has a good chance at winning this one as well. Lots of arty. It's mostly a big open field. If you're familiar with the game, we're kind of in the back of the Redoubt / Bolivar Heights camp, which is right up there. It's where Union spawn. The hook of the Redoubt is point C over there. And the other point, third and final point, is called Outskirts. It's the outskirts of Harper's Ferry. So anyways, that is the next one that is up here, and it looks like neither side has won B. It looks like the Union's committed way more to it. I see 3 flags there. CSA got C easily, so they're going to start the ticket drain on the Union. The Union here maybe realizes they got to kind of make quick work of this. CSA has 2 flags back there, 1 or 2, at least one that's over there. I don't know if there's more than that, but the Union knows they have to get on the clock. They got triple capped a couple of times on the previous map, although that is not why they lost. They just got killed in the last stand and they lost that way, but that was that. All right, and so the 4th Union Company is going to go for A. Oh, they're not going to win that. The CSA, that's the 4th CSA company, so unfortunately, The Union's going to be in a bad way here very soon. They'll tie it at 1 flag apiece, but then they're going to go down 2. I guess it depends on where this group goes. They might want to join up here and try to concentrate against the CSA in the hopes of maybe pushing C. But at this late point, that's got to be artillery then, or people who died and came from Maine. It's the only thing I can think of. So anyways, that's the Union getting B. You can see the CSA has a very decent concave. And, you know, in this game, if you get 2 out of 3 points, you can just sit on that and win. You can die out of line in skirmishing. It's one of the few things I don't like about Conquest. There's a lot I like about it that I think makes it the best game mode in the game. But it probably ignores the formation system, I think, a bit too much. It's fine if terrain matters more, but it would be nice if the formation system mattered a little bit, or at least they change the way that rounds end, so that if you're at the same level, like both sides are at taking losses, it looks at where you are, and the side with the most tickets left, because it's Conquest, you start with the same number. The side with the most tickets left wins, rather than just saying, all right, well, if you're at the same ticket stage, then it's a draw. That way, each side would kind of be digging to make sure that they played optimally in a case where they weren't able to kill the other side through last stand, whatever, that the formation system would still have relevance, even though control of territory is the most paramount. So notice here that the CSA, it's often kind of thought in War of Rights that, you know, the Union generally has the longer range advantage. The CSA, due to the prevalence of buck and ball, has the better close range advantage. But the CSA here is kind of moving up on the Union, firing and maneuvering them out of position here on B. This company appears to be in a bit of shambles. I mean, poor drywall. You look at that unit and it's a whole lot of single digits. Here at B, the terrain is a little bit more favorable, but the terrain the CSA has is not bad. Terrain that is like that, the CSA can use most of it to cover themselves and then shoot in at the Union. They got 2 flags in action against the Union's 1, so they might do well there. The Union looks like they sent another company to try to deal with what was going on over at point A, and I guess a Union company managed to get that flag down that the CSA had. Maybe it's a really small CSA company, I don't know. And now this 3rd Union company, I guess they got waved off for going to A, and they're going to try to hold at B. It's looking very, very tenuous for the Union here. It looks like the CSA has a much stronger push. But this group here is probably going to have to go where its friendlies are going to go. They might be trying to get fancy and put flanking fire, but that's still somewhat long range. And pretty soon, those enemies, you might get one volley at them, but then they're going to be embedded with your friendlies, and they're going to be stopped taking down the flag, raising their own. Then you have to move to get them. So, like, I understand, you know, it is generally better to shoot while your opponents are running. But if the Union intend to fight over this point, it would probably have been best to just make a beeline toward that flag and make that fight a little bit more favorable over the long term. But now it looks like there are two somewhat tattered Union companies here that are getting harassed off by one CSA while the other CSA caps and another reinforces it, and it appears like the CSA is once again getting the upper hand. I don't know if they're back to triple cap territory. I don't know how this is going over here. It looks like the Union is maybe going to be able to attrit their way up, but the CSA are just shooting all the Union dudes who come up to lift that flag, and the Union's barely hanging on there. So it's not the start you'd want to be. You would want to be on the CSA side if you could here. And we'll take a quick look at the officers, and you can look at the levels and just see. But it seems like there's been an influx of new players for reasons I don't entirely understand. Maybe it's some of the post-1776 buzz. That could be it. Here, we'll try to get all of our officers unmuted. But I don't know. When I looked at this before, I mean, that's a lot of level ones, man. I mean, there are some experienced folks, right? But on another map, it seemed far more prevalent. But you know what? The CSA also has a lot of single digits here, so it's hard to say. And you know, that's it's hard to say that anything is definitive there. But it perhaps suggests there might be a CSA experience advantage. But I don't think it's as big on this one as I saw earlier. So this company, they got to be wary now that they have two flags in action against theirs. That means in a shootout, right, the CSA is going to respawn twice as fast. So unless you have another way through numbers or rate of fire or accuracy or something like that to overcome that 2v1 respawn, that's probably a situation where that Union company has to realize they're going to lose that fight, and the longer they stay in that, it's going to snowball and get worse and worse. That's just the way it is. There's the possibility here that this company could fall back towards it, and it could fall back towards them. That might be asking too much of anybody, but yeah, the CSA has done a very effective job here of screening out point B. They remain in point C. I'm surprised. Is there... Maybe there's the CSA already folks who are guarding the flag and might be able to keep small teams of skirmishers off of it. But here, no, the CSA pushed him back and wiped him. And so the Union is once again in danger of being triple capped here. And yeah, that's rough. I mean, this map, I think it was this map, we have both triple capped people and been triple capped. Oh, it was on a different one where we triple capped a team, like at the very beginning of a round. This is organized. I think this might have been UEC if it wasn't HRE. They then eventually triple capped us, and the map was over, and we didn't take anything back, and I think we lost in 10 minutes. All that happened in about 10 minutes. So we're in the counterattack here. I know some people don't like the counterattack. I think the timer is probably a bit too short, and it should just end once the enemy flag comes down, because what triggers the beginning of the counterattack is that the enemy controls. That was a nice arty shot off there on the left. What triggers is that one side has all three flags raised, but it doesn't end until the other side not only lowers one of them but raises the other. The counter argument to that is that if you've been triple capped and all you can do then is, I guess, go down two flags, you're still burning through so many tickets that you're likely going to lose. But I think the counterattack dynamic is a good one. It's more certainly than contention. Picket patrol is not even worth talking about. and probably more than any skirmish, it's a way in which those who have been losing can still come back and potentially win a round. A lot of times on skirmish maps, if you fall behind, particularly as the defenders and the officers don't feel like playing cap recap, it's just the pits, man. Like, you can go down, and by 30 minutes, like, you're too far behind on tickets to win straight up for whatever reason, and there's no real way. You still got to sit there and you got to fight out the map for another 20-25 minutes, and you're going to lose, even if you play well, right? So I think that the counterattack mechanic in Conquest is awesome, and it's a way to encourage people to keep fighting to the very end. You could be down on tickets, but if you manage to triple cap and hold it, it keeps things interesting to the end. So I think that that's a plus. I think the rounds also go a bit faster in Conquest when the sides are a little uneven, right? Because they can triple cap, and so Conquest really forces the sides to try to even them out. This also requires officers in particular to kind of read the room, and if one side is just consistently stomping the other, it feels good, but the other side's eventually gonna hop off, and you're gonna end up with a lot of people playing on the losing side who don't want to be on it, and that kind of exacerbates the problem. But you can't solve every problem, right? But I think Conquest does a very fair job, or a very good job, of trying to make a lot of the battlefield feel important now that we have 400-man servers. Yeah, this is going to be a short one. And the Union actually just barely got that flag up. I thought they got pushed off of that, but they managed to get that flag up, and so they ended the counterattack with very, very little time left on it. But you can see this is the hole you've dug yourself in, because you were in a triple cap, so you're still losing tickets. And before that, they were down a cap point, and so now they are down 1.5 morale states, and it's at 33 minutes, right? That's how fast things can move in Conquest. But when there are two relatively even sides, that ability to fill up a server, move both sides, have fairly big numbers on artillery, and you got to constantly be thinking about moving and positioning and knowing when to fight, run away. I think for aggressive officers who are, active short of the point of being reckless, I think Conquest is a great game mode, and just as a rank and file guy, it's tons of fun. So certainly my preferred, rather than, right, the next best is Skirmish, where on a lot of Skirmish maps, even if they're competitive, like fairly well balanced, it still feels a lot like reenacting, right? You know the meta, and your officers play the meta. If they don't, sometimes you'll get crushed. And so then if you do, and these guys know where the points are, the few points that you can hop up and over. If you're the Union, you want to look for a shortcut to get to that point of contention. Nice shot by Union already. I mean, it's not a far shot, but it doesn't have to be. We have a bunch of down flags here. I think this is 2 Union, 1 CSA. That looks to be the case. But the Union's got to start making progress somewhere, or at least rip down one of those flags before the CSA recap this point. And the Union's just in big trouble because they're still down 2 points to 0. And the 2-0 bleed is, as you would expect, it's bigger than the 2-1 bleed or the 1-0 bleed. So the Union's got to do something. Running, it's the best option. There's nothing else they can do, but they just don't have the manpower to push a point. Yeah. So if they have a flag coming in, they can do something at B, but no, those are camp. Okay, there's a flag. So they can do something here at B. They can get the flag down and have another flag come in just as that's about to get started. You can see the CSA up here. They're going into spawn. I mean, that is Rivertown was the map before this, and both sides can pretty easily go into the other spawn, even if they time out going into it, and they can kind of both spawn camp. I just wonder if Rivertown wouldn't be a better one where the Union starts where they start on Washington Street. The CSA can start where they do, kind of for downtown. And then they kind of both work toward the graveyard, or move the spawns around. There's enough action in Conquest that it doesn't have to start that soon, right? And doesn't have to be that hot for that long. There's other mechanics in Conquest that make the rounds go quickly, and so I don't think putting the spawns that close and making them that easy to shoot into is the way you have to go. Yeah, so, you know, the Union... What? Did the Union stop? The Union stop bringing that flag down? Okay, well, this is the other good reason. So this is one of my other arguments in favor of Conquest, which is just that if one side is actually that much better than the other, then the round just ends more quickly, and you get the suffering over, and then hopefully, you know, this is the Peace in Ukraine server, hopefully the officers take a look around and they even out who's officering. There's things they can't change, but, you know, who's commanding. I maybe the Union just kind of tapped out there, because they had a flag that was going towards B. They got the other flag down, and then that flag did not continue in. But yeah, there's rarely a passive time here on Conquest, and yeah, that's kind of what everybody in artillery, I think they aim for. If they don't already have it in a range sheet, you just aim for the pole, aim low, hit it, and do the best you can. But yeah, the CSA is going to collapse in on those Union groups. It was a really well-timed arty shot before like the first CSA got there, and yeah, CSA pretty much dominated that one from the beginning. And yeah, Union had good enough officers to win there. I don't know what their issue is, but you can't say on Conquest that it's map balanced. I mean, some people will whine about everything, but you know, you get even tickets and you can play whatever points you want. It's whatever the problems are, they're symmetrical, right? If you're going to argue, as some people have, that, you know, it's bad because it's hard to shepherd around a lot of newer players, well, that's symmetrically true. And as we saw here, both sides have tons of single digits. So anyways, that was cool. I hope there's more of these coming. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope to bring you more.